Good morning! It's a beautiful day here in Seoul, and in this video I'll just be bringing you along with me and show you what my work looks like, what I do, how my day goes, just to give you an idea and share some information about what it is like to work in Korea as a foreigner. It's almost 9 a.m. and I'm gonna start the day with going to the office for some time. I'll see you there. I actually ended up going to the studio, a place where we film a lot of our car content, and I stayed there for the rest of the day. This is a company I work for, and this is how our studio looks like. It's pretty small, but it has most of the tools we need to work on cars, and today's task for me was to do some last minute touches and simple detailing for this beautifully 93 that we were preparing for a live auction. The car actually came to us very plain looking. We've done quite a lot of things. We did engine overhaul, we chip tuned the car, we installed ambient lighting, detailed it, and so on. There are two channels you can follow to see what it is that we do. First one is the main channel, Mission Ka Possible. This is in Korean, but you can see kind of like step-by-step process of how we work with our cars. And that second one is Dex Bros Customs. You can see a shorter version of everything that we do to the cars, and you actually can see what we do just with music and like some simple English writing. Almost everything you see in these channels is filmed by me, and you can actually see myself working on the cars as well sometimes. Alright, so we have done some simple cleaning and arranged the place for a live stream. This is where the computer will be, and I guess this is where I'll be seated. This car might actually be sold today, and even though it's not my car, I was one of the people who worked on it, and I like this car. It's I think the most fun car I ever drove. So it's gonna be a little sad to let it go, but it's part of the job. I guess all the memories we made are gonna live on the internet forever. This is one of the things that I love about filming and putting stuff on YouTube. So yeah, I'll let you know what I do next, since I don't really know what the schedule is. It's currently 10:32 a.m. and the live stream starts at 5. So during this video I'll be answering some questions regarding what it is like to work in Korea, and I asked it on my Instagram, and people who replied did let me know what it is that they're curious about, so I'll be answering these questions here today. And one of those questions is actually the day in life working in Korea. And today is rather a special day because we don't really have a lot of live streams, but this is a day when I actually have a little bit of time to talk and show you stuff, because most of the days I just film, and obviously when there is filming involved and we have to go from place to place, it's very hard to film any personal content. But this is why we are here today. And also one of the things that I really appreciate about my work is that there are barely any days that look the same, because I'm usually not at the office, very rarely. So to answer a question about things that surprised me the most in good and bad ways, there are actually way more good things than bad things. One of them being that not just the fact that how kind and supporting people at my company are. I don't have anything to compare to, because this is my first full-time job, and it's in Korea. I've never worked in my home country, I've never worked anywhere else, full-time of course. But the fact that I feel very close to almost all of my co-workers, and the fact that our friendship goes beyond what we do for work is very special. And the fact also that they're so patient with me when it comes to my very poor Korean skills is something that I think deserves a lot of credit. And when it comes to negative things that surprised me, again, I have nothing to compare it to. Maybe it's not just Korea or not just my particular case, is that the pace of work is very, very fast. Like, we do so much during the day, which again, if you look at it in a different way, it's good because it's never really boring. I sometimes forget how quickly the days pass by with everything that we do, but at the same time, it's very hard to concentrate on one thing very well, just because of how many different things I have to do for work. So for example, in the beginning I was more into filming, that was my main thing, that's why I was hired, to basically try to get into YouTube space and get into, get some foreign subscribers and get the channel or influence of the company outside of Korea. But at the same time, as I work more, I think I'm becoming more into like detailing or learning about cars rather than filming, just because of the nature of work. Many times I have to do a lot of things at once, and I feel like I don't get to concentrate on one thing and learn it really well and do it really well. I usually do a lot of things and the quality of the things really suffers. So that is one thing that I can point out. I would like to quickly introduce you to some of the projects we have here at the studio, and these are the cars that we have been working on that are not finished, and they will be ready in the future. This, I think, is going to be my favorite project so far. This is W124 E-Class from 1994, I believe. This car is a legend worldwide, basically, and why it means so much to me in particular is because this is the car from my childhood. I saw it for the first time in the movie Taxi. This was basically in the movie when you saw two, I think, German same E-Class running after Peugeot there, and yeah, those were a little bit faster cars, modified, but you know, it's still the same model. This is a 2013 Kia Ray, and what we did is we took a regular 2013 Kia Ray, and I'm just gonna put the picture here, and there is a facelifted version of it being produced in 2023. So what we did is that we removed a lot of things from it, and we are upgrading the looks. For example, here, bonnet, headlight, fenders, bumpers, wheels. We've upgraded the back as well. The whole trunk is different. The spoiler was never here. This is from a black color body that we have. And then this is original mint color. Also, it's all different, just to compare to how it was before. We are still working on the interior, but I think it's just pretty fun stuff that we do with cars, just because we can and just because it's fun, and it makes for an amazing content. Next task for the day was to film the first review or introduction video for the project we were starting at the time. We were done very quickly and moved back to live stream right away. The car was ready for sale, shining inside and out, and we were ready for the live stream. I was using a very simple setup. It was a camera with mics, two mics for both hosts, then laptop, and that's it. The software I was using was OBS, and we were streaming directly to YouTube. I'm always a little bit worried whenever we are live streaming, just because our audience is very big, so the price of the mistake is really high, but thankfully that day everything went really well. One more question I received was about coffee. Usually this is my, I think, second one today. So the thing about working in Korean corporate space is that you normally, I think, drink quite a lot of coffee. There is for sure a coffee machine at work. You know, sometimes we get it from clients, or if you go somewhere, we are the ones to buy coffee, or if somebody visits the office, we have to provide coffee. It's like this. There is a lot of coffee involved when it comes to meeting people, when it comes to going to new places and stuff like this. And usually I would have, I guess, on average 2 cups of coffee, but sometimes it could be like 4, sometimes it could be 0. So in short, basically there is a lot of coffee involved in working at the office, or not only at the office. That's one really unique thing that I got used to, because I was always a tea person. But ever since I started drinking a lot of coffee here, I'm confident to say that I'm a coffee person now. Alright, so this is the end of a live stream. I am the last one to stay here, saying goodbye to the car, talking to you. We were done, I think, pretty quickly. There were any big technical issues when it comes to the live stream. This is a part of my job, after all. And there is one more question I wanted to answer. It's about corporate culture, attitude toward foreigner, and any prejudice. So, from my experience, corporate culture doesn't really apply as much to me and the company, because the company is pretty small and I'm a part of a YouTube team, so I work directly with our CEO, basically. Like, I don't get to feel a lot of bureaucracy, I don't get to feel a lot of hierarchy when it comes to being in a corporate culture. So yeah, this is just what it is. And the corporate culture is actually pretty standard, I guess. It's a lot of hard work. It's 9 to 6 in general, and it's 1 hour for lunch. It's like I mentioned, I think, before, it's a lot of coffee, and yeah. But I do know this experience is very different when it comes to other people that I know. I didn't actually feel a lot of prejudice when it comes to, hiring a foreigner, just because, obviously being in a different country, it takes time for somebody to trust you. But I guess it's not just about Korea. If you are doing well and you are a trustworthy person, I think you'll be fine, actually, to be very honest. And I'm fine. I don't feel any prejudice towards, me being foreigner. And if anything, the more you stay here and the more you speak Korean, the more attitude changes towards you, like as if you are a part of them, if anything. Of course, there are certain rules that don't apply to you. You don't have to. If you say you don't eat something, it's okay. If you say you don't drink during certain occasions or don't drink at all, it's okay. Certain rules do not apply to you as a foreigner. But the more you are into the culture, the more you learn about it, the more you respect it, I think it can play really well towards you, and you can certainly feel that environment is pretty welcoming. Again, it depends on the person. My experience is like this, but again, I know a lot of people that don't share the same opinion with me. I think it's time for me to leave. It's not the end of the video. I actually am going to be going to a different place, but I still can talk to you a little bit about working in Korea, at least in my experience. And one more question that I received was about contracts. Is there anything weird, anything special? My answer is no. It's to me, it just looks the same. There is nothing. I mean, of course, you have to read it, but I think it depends on the company. Mine is pretty standard. There is nothing weird. All your holidays, all your working hours, all your lunch breaks, they're all written in the contract. All the conditions are written in the contract. General rule, I think, in Korea is that you get contracts. So, for example, for me as a foreigner, my contract is tied to my visa. If my contract is 1 year, I get a work visa for 1 year as well. If my contract is, I think, would be more than 1 year, I would be getting a longer visa, right? So, but I update it every year. Usually you can leave, I think, but a rule of thumb is letting your company know at least, I think, like 2 weeks in advance or so. So that is important, but again, to me, it's nothing really different, but you have to kind of know. But I guess you can compare it to other countries. I don't know the specifics of what your country is. Even in the country where I was born, I don't know the specifics. But I know in Korea, to me, it's nothing really out of ordinary. Alright, so I stopped by a rest stop to get some food, but the restaurant was already closed. So I decided to use this as a chance to tell you a few things that I think are pretty interesting in no particular order of them that I think are important to know. It's all about work environment in Korea. So first of all, business cards are still important. If you go to a corporate culture or really formal meeting, everybody's going to give out your business cards. And that was, I think, new to me because I've never used them before. I've never thought of them before, but apparently they're still useful, right? Yeah. Even though I think for young people or for creatives, usually your social account or portfolio is, how to say, a resume, but in formal meetings, business cards here are still important. In a lot of the cases that I hear from my friends, you have to be prepared to work more and longer than what you are expected to work. So basically, this goes without saying, the working hours are pretty long, and a lot of the times you don't have enough time to finish the projects you have on your hands at the point, so you really have to just stay longer either at home or at work or at the office. So you have to find time to work more. The hierarchy thing, yes, not in my company, but in general, hierarchy exists, and oftentimes you kind of have to be really careful about the steps that you take to talk to people higher than you, or to not overstep. Let's say if you have your own boss and this boss has his or her own boss, it's really not a good thing to just bypass one person to talk to somebody else, or you just really have to know when to say what, and really have to be careful, I guess. It's not only the experience that matters, it's often the age as well. So usually it's both of them, but I think age is prioritized a little more at the point. And the last thing, smoking is a social activity. People usually talk when they smoke. They discuss ideas, they talk about works, they talk about life. It's way more than going for a smoke to get the nicotine. It's actually the time to take a break. It's actually time to talk, to communicate, to share things that you wouldn't really have time to talk about during work. So that is really important thing, because I saw a lot of people who are not really that much into smoking starting to smoke or starting to be some passive smoker like me. I don't smoke, but if there is a smoking break, sometimes I do go just to have a small chat or talk about ideas, because once I'm at the office I'm usually in front of the computer. But yes, these are random things that I wanted to throw at you just because I found them very interesting. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I really appreciate you giving me the time to watch my stuff. And if you do have any particular questions, please feel free to comment below. I'll be happy to talk to you about it. See you in the next one.